Is WWE burying one of its most popular babyfaces? Just a few weeks ago, Jey Uso was on top of the world. Now, after a crushing loss to Gunther and losing the world title, and another loss to Cody Rhodes in the King of the Ring tournament, many fans are asking if main event era is over before it truly began. Wait, you might think this big loss to Gunther and this big loss to Cody Rhodes sends him back to the back of the line, but Jay's own words after his loss to Gunther tells a completely different story. He's not looking back, he's not looking straight through a monster to get his momentum back, and his plan is more calculated than you think. The main event of the June 23rd episode of Monday Night Raw saw Cody Rhodes defeat his longtime friend to advance to the final of the 2025 King of the Ring tournament to face off with Randy Orton. The two men battled in a back-and-forth contest that saw both competitors use each other's signature moves in an attempt to gain the victory. Ultimately, it was Cody Rhodes who was able to put Jey Uso away after hitting multiple crossroad finishers. With the victory, now Rhodes moves on to the King of the Ring final at Night of Champions this Saturday on June 28th in sweet Saudi Arabia, taking on his former Legacy stablemate, Randy Orton, who won the SmackDown side of the bracket. Look, there is a lot on here. Before I want to get into the narrative that Jey Uso has been just buried, I want you to hear something from Jey. The former World Heavyweight Champion, well, he made his pick regarding the upcoming retirement match between World Heavyweight Champion Gunther and Goldberg, and he's not rooting for the WWE Hall of Famer. Instead, he is hoping that Gunther gets it done at Saturday night's main event on July 12th. Speaking at the SummerSlam kickoff event at the Fanatics Fest, Jey Uso explained that he wants Gunther to retain the title so he can get another match with him. This is what he had to say. I got to go with Gunther right now. Gunther's the better man, right? We've gone back and forth. I got a lot of respect for Gunther. I never stepped into the ring with Goldberg before, so my hat's off to Gunther. I want Gunther to win. I want Gunther to get past Saturday night's main event so I can run it back one more time with Gunther. I got to knock that wall down for me to protect to my next level. That's what I think. Now, let's talk about this, because I've seen the narrative. Oh, well, WWE, they buried Jey Uso by having him lose the World Heavyweight Championship to Gunther. And then they doubled down by saying, well, okay, the main event era is over. Main Event Jey is no longer, because now he just lost to Cody Rhodes in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. Y'all, he was not ever supposed to hold the world title for a very long time. He just wasn't. He had a moment in the sun. WWE, kudos to them for actually listening to the fans, giving the fans what they wanted, giving Jey a world title run instead of just saying, like they always used to do, oh, no, we're not going to listen to you. He's not a main eventer. Look at what they've done with LA Knight. Look at what they've done with Sami Zayn. No, they gave him a world title. Okay, and he lost to Gunther in a very hard-fought victory in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Okay? Losing to Gunther ain't shabby. Now, reportedly, the reason that they took the title off of him so quickly, or at least around this time, is because they wanted to do Gunther versus Goldberg for the world title, even though it makes no sense if Goldberg is already at knowledge. I'm retiring after this match. Well, what happens if you win the title? I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, but he was never supposed to have a long run. Let's look at the situation. Him losing to Cody Rhodes. I was surprised that they put him in the King of the Ring tournament. But you know what? He made it all the way to the finals. Losing to Cody Rhodes is now all of a sudden a burial that's burying him? You knew that Cody Rhodes was going to win this tournament. You knew Cody Rhodes was going to win the Raw side. How else do you expect the Cody Rhodes-John Cena feud to get worked out and finalized, right? Like, we knew that Cody Rhodes versus John Cena 2 was likely going to happen at SummerSlam. Well, how do you get there? King of the Ring. The winner advances. If Cody wins, then he gets the challenge for a championship of his choosing. And vice versa with Randy Orton. So no, this BS narrative that Cody Rhodes buried Jey Uso and Gunther buried Jey Uso and Triple H buried Jey Uso and the popcorn guy buried Jey Uso. I think buried gets tossed around way too much. I think you guys need to slow your roll on burial claims here. If you're interested in burials, I highly recommend you go into being a mortician and working at a funeral home, because in this situation, no, WWE did not bury Jey Uso. Now, is he going to be world champion again? Probably not. I didn't think he was going to be world champion for a second time when he was on his road to becoming a world champion. And the way that they booked him coming out of WrestleMania, well, that certainly made you think, okay, they don't see Jey Uso as a main event guy. They see him as a guy that is over. They see him as a guy that sells a bunch of merch and gets a loud ovation, but he doesn't move the way that a Cody Rhodes or a John Cena does. He just doesn't. That's okay. He can still be a top babyface for them. He can still be a guy that is a utility player that can help get others over, that can still be in the main event mix, that can challenge for, world championships. But my biggest issue with WWE's booking of Jey Uso for the longest time, and the way that they book Sammy, and the way that they book LA Knight. Like with Jey, I didn't think they were ever going to give him a world title run, and that was fine. With LA Knight, I thought they should have, because I think he's a bigger star than Jey Uso and a bigger star than Sami Zayn. I didn't think they were going to give Sami Zayn a world title run. I still don't. Um, I don't see him as a world champion. I didn't see Jey Uso as a world champion. I see LA Knight as a world champion, and the reason that I didn't see Jey Uso as a world champion is not a knock on Jey Uso, right? He is over. But when you think of a world champion, does he fit that picture? No, he doesn't. Like, he sells a bunch of merch and he gets loud ovations and he's over like Rover and he moves social media engagement and he moves ratings. But at the end of the day, I think it's very hard for the casuals to buy him as a world champion. And even though you have all those metrics behind you, and that is what you want, and that is what you're looking for as a world champion, I think it's also as important to note that, hey, does this guy look the part and does fans accept him as a world champion? Not just a guy that's over, not just a guy that's popular, but is over, because we have to be able to put him in main events, and we have to be able to put him in main event programs with guys that are either on his level and draw or are not on his level and draw, and be able to create new stars, right? Working with Roman and Seth and CM Punk and John Cena and Roman and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan and Asuka and Bianca Belair. All of these talents, what do they have in common? They're main event players who, if you work with them and you are a younger talent or a less than talent in terms of the star power, you are elevated by working with them. You are a bigger star after working with them than you are not, right? So that's where my thinking comes in when it comes with Jey Uso.